Hello, my name is Selena.
And my name's Theoni, and you are listening to Piping Hot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Piping Hot. I hope everyone is doing freaking fantastic.
Yes, what Selena said. I'm like so tired. I went out for one of my friends' birthdays last night, just like a dinner, and we went out after. For a lot of reasons, I remembered how old I am.
Yes.
I know I'm 25, but I feel like a solid like 40, 25-year-old, if
Oh
you
my
get what I'm saying.
gosh.
Like I was tired going into the dinner, but I was like, I gotta get my energy up. I was drunk, first of all, after like 2 glasses of wine, and I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Then we went to this bar afterwards to like dance or whatever, and like every single person in that line and like they just look like fetuses. And I was like, I don't think that I look that old.
Yeah.
But like, it just made me feel old. And
Yeah.
like, even the music and the way people were acting, I was like, oh boy.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Like my friends and I still had like a fun time or whatever, but it
Good.
just is interesting when you get to that point and you're like, is this what I am now?
Yeah. It's
Like-
it's so interesting though, because like our age is like not even old, but you
No.
can tell such a huge age gap between like early 20s to like mid 20s. Like it's crazy.
Yes.
I thought in my head, I'm like, oh no, like that's not on paper, that's not a lot, but like
Exactly.
culturally, like when you're in the same area, you're like, oh whoa, this is weird.
Totally different stages of life.
Yep.
Like, I feel like mid-20s are just starting to get their life together. They don't have their lives together at all.
And they don't
Like,
care. They don't care. Like that's the thing.
Oh my gosh. They really don't care at all.
Which more power to them. Like I didn't care either at that point, but it's like wild.
I also just like hate men for this reason. I was just dancing, having a good time, and this guy came up to me multiple times and he's like, you gotta add more shoulder, like moving his shoulder. And I was like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. And I turned back to my friends, and then he came back and he said the same thing, and I was like, I'm all set. And then he flicked me off.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't, let me dance.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
care if I'm moving my shoulders. I'm not gonna leave me alone.
I don't need instructions from you. Like,
No.
please stop. What the heck?
Yeah.
Ugh, the audacity.
No,
like,
I
leave me
know.
alone, please.
Literally, I would love for a man to approach me at a bar that isn't weird or annoying. Like, that's like a great way.
Weird or
No,
annoying.
truly. Like, that's what we always talk about, like meeting someone authentically out in the wild. Like, you got to go out and do things. Okay, I'm going out and doing things.
Yeah.
You want to know who I approach? Move your fucking shoulder.
Yeah.
Let me scream in your face. Like, let me. No, leave me alone. Like,
Yeah.
anyways.
It's hard out there.
It is hard out there. So that's like my vent about that. But it was super fun. We had green tea shots that were like way too large.
Good. Yum.
But like it was really good. I love a green tea shot.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't taste that much like alcohol.
No, that's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Exactly. Have you ever had a white tea shot?
No. But we've had green tea shots together before.
We have.
But I don't
Yes,
think
we
about
have.
white, though.
My friend was telling me about it, and like I don't exactly know what the difference is, but it's also really good.
Okay.
So you should try it. Yeah.
Dang. Okay. I will. It's funny that you say that because I had an alumni event this past Wednesday and they had an open bar. And I was like, well,
Magic.
if I'm going to socialize with these people that I haven't seen in years,
Then I'm
going
gonna
to need a
some
drink.
courage. Yeah.
I'm going to need a drink. And it's an open bar. So, and I had like 2 glasses of wine, and it was like in these like the very nice like wine glass flutes, like the little tiny skinny ones.
Oh,
and
fun.
he didn't even fill it like halfway. It was like a little under
the
halfway.
hell?
I had 2 of them and I was gone. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like I'm like, holy crap. And it's funny too, because I think this is what I realized. I think wine really gets me drunk because in Vegas we had like shots and mixed drinks and I was fine. I was like totally fine. So I'm like, I think I need to slow down with wine, but like hard liquor I'm okay with. So, you know, I learned more about me.
We figure, yes, exactly. Like you learn more and more. You're learning about yourself. It's good information to have.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all it is. How else has your week been?
It's been good. And in the last episode, I had said that I am learning to like scuba dive and stuff. And so you have to do like there's like a textbook that has 5 chapters and like all these videos and stuff. So I'm slowly making my way through that. And honestly, it makes me realize like how much I hated school. Like it's giving me like flashbacks because it's all performative for me. And I know it's all performative for me. So it's like it's really hard to like learn when I know it's like all validation for me. So I'm trying to like take away that part of being performative and just like trying to learn. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. I just have to do it.
No, it's hard too because like you're doing it for like out of choice, right? Like it's something fun, whatever.
Yes.
So I feel like it's good to like remind yourself of that when it starts becoming one of those things where it's like, oh, I have to do this. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I tried so hard in school sometimes, and then other times I wouldn't try at all. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anyways.
So yeah. But that's going well.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then nothing else. I've been kind of busy, which is really annoying actually. But and then I got paid and then I went on a tiny shopping spree.
What'd you get?
I've been trying really hard to save money, okay? So it was really tiny. I bought some stuff online from Ulta, some stuff from Amazon. And then I bought Jack's birthday gift. So very tiny. I think, I think I might go to the bookstore later this week. But I have to like control myself, okay? Because like it has to be a tiny shopping spree.
I get you, girl. Yeah, I'm yawning. But I get you, girl. Honestly, treat yourself.
I know.
I'm never going to tell you not to.
I know. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go later today. Because I'm busy later this week. So I think I might just go today.
Yeah, may as well while you're at it.
Yeah. Any other life updates from you?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, I have one fun little tidbit to share. Okay. Which maybe this is oversharing for the podcast, but you know what? Here we are. Okay. As you guys may or may not know, this year has been just a string of like going on dates with guys, getting excited, and then getting ghosted, right? Yeah. That's just been my trajectory this year. Yeah. We're coping, we're living, whatever. Okay. I decided to unpause my Bumble the other day. I've had it paused this whole time because I was like, you know what, I'm not really into this. But I was like, I'm bored, so I'm going to swipe a little bit. I unpaused it. A few swipes in, you want to know who pops up? Do you remember Ben? The first guy I was talking to for a long time this year. Made all these promises, like going super well, whatever.
I do.
I was like too curious. I swiped, we match immediately. Oh I messaged him. You want to know what I said?
You messaged him? Oh my gosh.
I messaged him. And you want to know what I said?
What'd you say?
I said, I didn't know ghosts could swipe right.
You are in your reputation era. I'm here for it. You are in your villain era. Fucking get it? Did he reply? What happened?
Yeah, he replied. Like, I'll send you the screenshots and whatever later. But he, like, did not pick up what I was putting down at all. Like, he was like, oh, for what little it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, no. Please. I was like, what happened? He was like, oh, I got back together with an ex, and then I, like, moved in, and then I moved out, and, like, here we are. And, like, I was like, okay, so why message? And he's like, I wanted to see how you were, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, whatever. I was like, no. I was like, no. And I sent him a message reaming his ass out. And then he sent me another message, and he's like, well, I don't really think dating makes a lot of sense right now because there is a big breach of trust on my end, but I'm happy to be a friend or whatever. God. And then I messaged back. I was like, I don't want to be your friend and I don't want to date you. Who said anything about dating, motherfucker? Like, what? And then he asked me, he's like, I guess I could ask you the same. Like, why'd you swipe right? And I literally responded to him. I was like, I don't feel like I'm the one who needs to explain myself here. Yeah. I straight up said that to him.
Look at our past messages, what I just sent.
Literally. And so I'm never one to do stuff like that or ream them out, or like, I'm usually very understanding, but I've just had it with like these little boys, you know?
Yes. Honestly, Reputation era shit. I'm here for it.
And I'm wearing black.
I know you are. Yes. Exactly.
Well, yeah, I've just like had it, and like so anyways, so that happened. But
to clarify, this is LinkedIn Ben, right?
LinkedIn Ben.
Who was the one that you had like connected on LinkedIn with?
Oh, yes, it was LinkedIn Ben.
Fuck
I
LinkedIn
should have known.
Ben.
Fuck LinkedIn Ben.
Fuck him, honestly. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh my God, I cannot handle it. And I remember before he removed me on Instagram, he removed me on LinkedIn. Remember that? Woo, kills me.
I know,
but
honestly.
But apparently,
I love it.
Yeah, so it is what it is, but in a weird way, it's a good closure because I got to be like angry about it. Yes. And maybe he got a little bit of anger from these other men as well, but whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. So that happened. That's my only other life update.
Wait, what were you going to say? Apparently what?
Oh, apparently his ex got mad at him and saw our messages and asked who I was and all these things, and then deleted my contact from his phone.
What?
Yeah.
What the heck? Okay, whatever.
And I literally responded to him. I was like, that doesn't sound like a good situation for you to be in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's whose fault is it? Yours.
Like literally yours.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Watch out there, boys. I'm not playing anymore. I said that so like, I'm not playing anymore. Hee. But like, I'm so over it.
Yeah, no,
I'm
honestly.
really over it. Yeah. So anyways, that's that.
Nice. What are you reading, watching, listening, consuming?
Okay, so I did read a book this week for the first time in like weeks.
Wow.
So this is very exciting. I read The Makeup Test by Jenny L. Howe, which was actually pretty good. I will say, like, I think that there were things that could have made it better. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it overall. Like, it was an academic rivals situation, like second chance romance. So there were a lot of elements I liked, but I hope I don't sound like an asshole when I say this, even though I fully might. But the main female character was like a huge feminist, like all these different things, like very, very liberal, right?
Yeah.
But the story became so much about like just throwing little tidbits in about that it took away from like the romance of like and the storyline. Like, you know, when it feels like authors are just throwing in quips about like different populations or different whatever, just to like almost like check off their box of like diversity or like accepting other people. That's what it felt like, and I did not like that.
You could tell like it was like planted in almost like
exactly.
Okay.
Where it's like if it's part of the story, that's part of their character, whatever, great. But like there's a way to do it that doesn't feel performative, and it became so intrusive that like it was taking away from the book. And I was like, it's unfortunate because the story itself was good.
Yeah. But, darn, that sucks.
Yeah, I know.
It really like draws you out of the story. Like it
does,
really
exactly.
Oh, darn.
And I'm not saying it's bad to like include that stuff, but there's a way to do it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. That makes sense. Darn. Okay.
So anyways, but that's what I read.
What are you gonna read next? What do you think?
Well, depending on when we decide to do our buddy read, I'm either gonna read The Sweetest Revenge by Lizzie Dent, or I'm gonna read, what is it called? It's the one I got from Book of the Month. It might have been called You Again. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it sounds like a really interesting premise. So nice. I'll choose between one of those, I think.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah. What are you reading?
So I did a buddy read for a book called Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. It was a cozy adult fantasy novel. And it was very cute and honestly like really pleasantly surprising. Like I had So much fun. I didn't really know like what to expect when I was
Yeah.
reading it, but it was actually really good. The romance in it was fantastic.
Yay!
The plot was actually very good. Like, I think for
Okay.
cozy fantasies, the plots are like non-existent or like very very slow, and this plot was actually like there was substantial plot, and I was like, wow.
Nice.
Wow.
That's so good because it keeps you intrigued, but it's also like still an easy, like cute read.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. I
Yeah.
think it was like a good balance of everything, so it was really
Nice.
really fun. And then
Nice.
currently I'm reading These Infinite Threads by Tara Mafi, who's the author of the Shatter Me series, and this is like the second book in the This Woven Kingdom series. It's a
Yes.
young adult fantasy series, and so I'm reading the second book. I'm not too far into it, but I'm excited to keep reading. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, I hope it turns out nice.
Me too.
Because I feel like I heard you talk about the first book.
Yeah, the
good
first
amount.
book was fantastic. And so
Okay.
sometimes like second books have like a second book lull. So I'm
Yep.
hoping that's not the case, but the way that it started, I'm like very intrigued already. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
Good.
What are you watching?
Besides what we watched for today's episode,
Yes.
I have still been watching Always Sunny.
Good.
I was watching this one like competition show on Netflix called Easy Bake Battle. It's hosted by Anthony from Queer Eye. And it's just like
Love.
who I love. He's like so wholesome and like
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, I was watching that with a roommate, and then my roommates and I also started watching Gilmore Girls together. So
Fun.
which I feel like is just a great show to start in the fall.
I was just gonna say
So-
it's like the perfect time to start it.
Yeah, so good vibes
Love.
all around.
That's cute.
How about you?
Jack and I finished the live action One Piece show on Netflix.
What do you think?
Good. I think it was good.
Okay.
I think I don't want to say it's like the best anime to live action show, because anime to live action never translates well, but
Yeah.
I think what they did with the show is the best that I've seen,
Nice.
if that makes sense. Like it's not
Yeah.
it's not the best show ever, but
Mm-hmm.
because it's like anime to live action, I think they did well
yeah.
translating it.
Like
So-
they did as good as they could with what they were given.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I saw that it's already renewed for a season 2, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's exciting. But yeah, no, it was fun. And it was just like a really quick watch. It's like only 8 episodes. So
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
yeah.
What are you listening to?
Oh, what am I listening to? So I found this playlist on Spotify called Training to Become a Fantasy Huron. So I've been listening to that while I work out.
I need you to send that playlist to me immediately. That's amazing.
Honestly, it works. It works.
I bet when you have good music, there's
Yeah.
nothing like it.
Yeah, it slaps. So
Also, just noting, I did add your songs to our collective playlist last week.
hey, to my defense, I was going to do it, and then I had a busy week. I'm never
Okay.
busy, okay?
Okay,
And I
fair.
remembered, I was like,
Alright.
oh, I have to add the songs, and then I just never did.
That's okay. I forgive you. I'm just giving you a reminder.
I know. What have you been listening to?
Let me just pull up my playlist and see what we got. I have been listening to Love is Embarrassing by
Love.
Olivia Rodrigo. I've
Nice.
been really into that song.
Yeah.
I have been listening to Greedy by Tate McRae, which came out, was it last night?
Yeah.
Or no, a couple nights ago. I really like that song. I will say I wish she didn't tease it on TikTok so long.
Yeah, I know.
Because the song is really good, but I'm a little sick of it already.
Yes, exactly.
It's like what happened with Unholy.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people were commenting on, of like, oh my God, it's finally coming out. But I think it was like her whole label thing. Like, I think,
Yeah.
which I think, again, so stupid. Like, I don't know why they need, like, to hold songs hostage until they blow up so big that by the time the full version is released, everyone's sick of it.
Exactly. Like why not, if you're getting all this hype,
Release
you
it.
should like release it.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. I've been listening to Maniac by Horizon. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Can I just play a little for you?
Yes.
Because I think you'll actually really like it.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm just going to start from here, okay?
Okay.
What you did already let you get me in a frenzy. Like a maniac.
Just wait for the chorus. I'm so obsessed with this song. Okay, it came up at my Discover Weekly, and my Discover Weekly is always shit. But I heard that song, and I literally get chills. I don't know why I like it so much, but I'm obsessed. I'm literally obsessed.
It reminds me of like early 2000s, but also reminiscent of Ariana Grande's Positions album.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
What have you been consuming? And also, I realized we didn't ask each other what we're drinking, so we can do it 2 in 1.
Okay, perfect. I am drinking water today.
Love.
And consuming. I don't think I've really eaten anything like super exciting recently, honestly. But I did just do a little grocery haul at Whole Foods today, which is way more fancy than what I usually do. It was really expensive. But my skin also has been freaking out lately. Like, it's just been breaking out, and I don't know what the heck is going on with it. So I'm gonna try like going like really light on the gluten and dairy for the next couple weeks, or just like cutting them out to see if that helps at all, because I know that like those things can contribute to acne. And it's weird because I know that it's not like my hormones, so like I don't really know what's going on. So I'm gonna try like adjusting some things in my diet to see if that helps. If it doesn't, then we'll go from there. But yeah, I don't know why it's freaking out lately. Maybe stress, who's to say?
I mean, that too, but also, like, I'm thinking, like, because, like, your environment could affect that too, but, like, I don't think it's, like, really changed that much in Boston. And you've been in Boston for so long that, like, you should have already, like, been used to
Exactly.
the environment there. Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Darn.
So I don't know. But anyways, so gonna try to really get on my shit this week.
Good. Very nice.
Yeah. How about you?
I am drinking a seltzer called Polar. My sisters recommended it to me because we were talking about like sparkling waters, and they're like, oh, like, what is your go-to like brand that they drank? And they're like, oh, you should try Polar. So Jack and I bought some at Target the other day, and I am drinking Ruby Red Grapefruit, and it's actually really good. I like it.
Nice.
So what I've been consuming, I told you that I had Jimmy John's the other day, and it hit. Like, I haven't had Jimmy John's in so long that it was just so good.
Here's the thing. My first job ever was at Jimmy John's. And
Wait, I didn't know that.
Really? Yeah. When I was 15, it was my first job I ever had. I was working with a bunch of middle-aged, nasty men.
Oh my gosh.
I lasted 2 months before I quit.
Wow.
But you think I would be averse to that food now that I, like, worked with it?
Yeah.
But there is something about that goddamn sandwich that is so
good. So freaking good. And then like in college, I do like Jimmy John's with my chips, and then I'd get like the day old bread as well.
Oh,
and it's just so
magic.
good. Literally so,
So
good. And then I also have a free meal at Chipotle for like the rewards. So I'm like debating on when to order that. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, be careful.
Right. Yeah.
It's a risky.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to dive into pop culture?
Sure thing.
Okay.
So I only have 2 things, so I'll just like get mine out of the way if that works. Okay. One that we need to discuss is that Chris Evans is married to Alba Baptista.
I know.
I am very happy for him because I know that he wants a wife, he wants a family.
Does.
Like, great. She's beautiful. They're a beautiful couple. Great. There is a pretty big age gap, but like, live your life. At least she's an adult, and he met her when she was an adult.
Yeah.
So at least there's that.
She's literally our age.
Which means that I could have had a chance.
Yeah,
is what I'm hearing.
Literally.
Yeah. So that's that. Congrats, I guess. And then also another thing, another celebrity divorce. Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
is getting divorced from his wife of like 27 years, I think.
I think it is.
And
Yep,
it's
27
crazy
years.
because their statement that they put out was like, we just decided to pursue different things. And I'm like, there's got to be more to that. I mean, I've never been married, so I don't know what it is. You could say more than I could.
Yeah.
But like, because you're married, obviously. But it's like, what, 27 years down the line to get divorced, to pursue different things, that just doesn't seem like reason.
I don't-
like, can't, what?
I don't know. I don't like 27 years I feel like is so long that like at that point you guys should have had the same priorities, dreams, hopes. I mean I understand
Yeah.
like things can change and things will always change. But 27 years is so long. Like I don't
It
think we
is.
can conceptualize that correctly. Like
No,
it's so long.
because we haven't even lived that long.
Exactly. Literally the
Ew.
Literally. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. I mean, like, a lot of celebrity breakups this year have honestly been,
No.
like, very scary. It's
I
sad.
hope everyone's doing okay.
I know.
But like, I can't imagine going through something like that. So I wish them the best and
Yeah.
to find happiness.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the more negative things and
Okay.
then end with positive things because
I love that you're doing this now.
for some reason, I always
Yeah.
tend to do, like, the more positive things at the top
Yeah.
of my list and then, like, all my negative things are at the bottom. So I'm going to...
Well, and it never helps to be like, oh, all these fun things, and then, oh, and this person died. It's like,
Yes!
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
literally.
Like, it's so awkward. So I
Honestly.
love this.
Honestly, okay, so starting with the negative things.
Did someone die?
No. I don't know if you've seen. I've never really, I didn't do a deep dive on it. It's just kind of like floating around. But there have been like a bunch of drama with Drew Barrymore's show, as well as some other shows that are now starting to come back after their like summer break, which is like normal, due to the WGA strike, which again, reminder, there's a writer's strike happening as well as an actor and actresses strike happening as well. And so I think she had posted an apology video about something and then took it down for the whole thing. I don't know what is happening. And I'm just like really confused about the whole thing, because not only is Drew Barrymore's show going on, there are other shows that have now also announced that they're going to be airing without their writers. So all of that drama happening with the strike.
I think that there's so much more to this story, and people, again, like we talked about last week, people are so quick to go after the host when it's
Yeah.
so much more than that, first of all.
Yeah.
But second of all, it's like, I understand why the writers are on strike. I understand why the actors and actresses are on strike. Fine. But like, there's so many other people that are a part of this team and all of these shows and things. They need to pay their families as well. So I also try to think of like the other perspective of it, where it's like, well, maybe she's just trying to like figure it out for those people.
Yeah.
And so, and then she released a second statement where she was like, I just don't think I can say anything that's gonna like make this better at this point.
Yeah.
And so it's hard, because I'm sure you're trying to be like nice to some people, but then on the other side of it, it's like you're really letting your writers down.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, so you don't need me then, but actually you do. So like, I think it's just like a shitty situation.
Yeah, honestly, like it's a lose-lose situation. And also
Yeah.
too, like, who knows if it's Drew's decision to greenlight the show. Like her show is a part of a overarching studio above her that also makes decisions. So it's like, I don't know who is calling the shots over there, and also if she had any decision in the green light of it.
Yeah.
So
Who knows?
But yeah, all that shit's kind of going
Crazy.
down because everything is like supposed to be returning. But yeah, next thing is that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis stepped down from the board of Thorn, which is the anti-child sex abuse organization that Ashton co-founded in 2009 due to
Shut
all
up.
the backlash that they got from their letters to Danny.
Wow.
It's so funny though, because on TikTok there are a bunch of PR professionals who like analyze these situations, and it's very, very interesting to me. I'm in marketing and advertising, but like for college I had to go through like PR classes just to get like a foundation of it, and it's so very interesting because they dissect all of these PR crises and kind of predict what they would do next as a PR professional. And someone on TikTok had predicted that they'd step down from the organization as a next step to like subdue all of the media crisis, which again is so interesting. Like, I am not in PR, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not in PR, because it is such a like media shitstorm that I personally could not handle it, but it's so interesting.
That is so interesting. I think it's fascinating. Like, I have seen a few of those PR videos. I'm not on the PR side of TikTok, but every once in a while they'll like pass through, and it's so fascinating to see like them talk about it and like, oh, if they make this decision, they'll get this reaction. If they do this, this will happen. And it's like wild. And it's crazy that the media creates all this, because then it's like you think about, oh, but these are two powerful people who are now stepping down from an organization that probably does a lot of good. And it's like, is that really a positive thing at the end of the day, just to save face? Like, I don't know. It's a shitstorm, again, that I don't want to deal with.
Yes, and it's also, too, it's like managing people's expectations. Like, this was expected from people, and people will accept it, right? And that's what a PR professional's job is to do, is to not only protect the image of the people that they're working for, but also to expect and predict people's reactions, which is so crazy to me. Literally insane.
Wild.
Yeah. And now more happier things, okay? I know we talked about it last week, but I have been on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift TikTok. I am convinced that they are going on dates now, and they're something's happening, something's brewing, and I am 100% here for it. I'm here for it.
You know what? Whatever works. I will say I'm not on Travis and Taylor TikTok, but I am on Travis TikTok.
Yeah.
The amount of thirst traps I see, or compilations of him like dancing, I love him.
I know.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's so perfect too, because he was born in 1989. Just as the same year as Taylor was born in 1989. I'm like, how can this not be more perfect? You guys. And he's a huge fan of her. Oh, okay. I'm dying.
I am so excited to see if more comes out.
Yes,
about
me
it.
too. Yeah.
Okay,
my next one is that Olivia Rodrigo announced that she's doing a world tour for Guts. Which, honestly, good for her at her age to do a world tour
with
that big.
2 albums.
Yes, exactly. Like, that is, I feel like that's so unheard of now, but good for her. She's thriving.
Yeah. No, I think my friend and I might try to go somewhere.
Fun. So, yeah. Nice. My next one is that the VMAs happened. I didn't follow it, but I know it was lit. Everyone looked really good, and it was all great. I didn't follow, like, who won, who lost, or whatever. I was just, like, looking at, like, the looks or whatever that they had, so...
I will say Taylor Swift won like so many awards.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it is insane. I was a little salty that Ice Spice won Best New Artist over Renee Rapp.
Oh,
there
Renee
were other
Rapp.
people in that category, but to me, I just, between the two of them, I would like so go for Renee.
Yeah.
For Best New Artist.
I agree, because I think Renee is insane, but she
is insane.
Ice Spice has more like commercial appeal, and she's already
right now,
she's already been featured on so many big tracks. Like, she has like multiple features with Nicki Minaj, and I'm like, how can a new artist get it? And with Taylor Swift too, like, that's crazy to me that she at so early in her stage.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know. Whoever her team is, or her managing team or whatever, like, they're working really hard. But I agree. Yeah. I think I would have gone with Renee Rapp, but in a sense, I understand.
Ice Spice.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
My last pop culture thing is that celebrities are auctioning off different things to raise funds for the WGA and the SAG strikes to pay for people's like health insurance and just to support them as the strikes are going on. And honestly, if I had money, I would 100% buy stuff, but I'm poor.
Same. That's what I mean. It's like hard for me to conceptualize that I'm like, these people make so much more money
Yeah.
than the people they are asking
Yeah.
to now support them.
Yeah.
But then I try to bring myself back down to earth and be like, it's not just these actors and actresses and
No.
whatever
Yeah.
making all the money. It's all the behind the scenes people that
Yeah.
you don't know who make more of a normal-ish wage, you know? So,
Well-
especially with families and stuff and insurance.
Yeah,
again.
exactly. I saw on TikTok is that the guy in Breaking Bad, oh gosh, I don't know his name. Not the main.
Bryan Cranston.
Nope, not him. The other guy. What's his? Do you know who I'm talking about? The other,
Yes.
like, okay, him. I don't know what his actor name is, his real name is, but he was picketing for SAG and basically saying how like Breaking Bad is streaming on Netflix, but he doesn't get any residuals. If you've seen Breaking Bad, he is one of the main characters, like one or two main characters. Like the story would not proceed without him. And the
Yeah.
fact that he's not getting paid shows that like everyone underneath him is definitely not getting paid. And so
Yeah.
I think like it's so important. I think Oscar Isaac was just at a picket line as well recently earlier this week of like, yeah, I know that they're bigger stars and stuff, but like if they're not getting fair wages, imagine the people underneath them and
Yeah,
all the background people that
1000%.
make like, you know how like in theater when they're like, oh, you're a background, you're a part of the chorus, like,
Yeah.
you know, like you matter still, you know, like
Yeah,
that's the thing.
100%.
Like they still matter. And so
Yeah.
I definitely understand. And you know what, also too, the fact that like these big celebrities are doing these auctions, like of course people are going to pay for them because they're big celebrities. Like I think one of the things that I had sent you was that you can get on a Zoom with the New Girl cast.
Oh, I would perish.
Me too.
I would die.
Literally
and
me
there's
too.
one for the Always Sunny in Philadelphia cast where they roast you.
Oh, that one's
or
fake.
was that a meme?
Yeah, that's a
Oh.
meme. It's
I
hard
really
to tell.
wanted that.
I know. It's like
there's so many memes about it which
Yes.
are so funny.
But honestly, I would pay for the It's Always Sunny. Like I think
I
that'd be
want
so
them
funny.
to roast the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like went through their eBay site, but there's also a Daisy Jones and the Six record vinyl signed by Riley that you could
There
bid on
is.
too.
Aw.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So there's, I mean, like there are different like stuff where you can get on Zoom, but there's also like different items that you can.
Yeah. That's
can
so
bid
cool.
on. Again, if I had money, I would do it, but
And again, it's a bid. So like
Yes!
I might like there ain't no way I'm winning that.
No,
honey.
exactly,
No.
exactly. That's all that I have for pop culture.
Alrighty. Do we want to jump into what our topic is today?
Yes. So today, Theoni and I are going to be discussing the newest Netflix film called Love at First Sight. It came out this past Friday, starring our girl Haley Lou Richardson. It was like a rom-com romance movie. But yeah.
I cannot wait to hear your overall thoughts because I will say it was nothing like I expected it to be.
Oh, really? Like in a good or
some
bad
ways.
way? Oh,
In
okay.
some ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can start with my overall thoughts then. So
Okay.
honestly, when it first started, I was like not feeling it. I was
Interesting.
for some reason, it all felt like really forced to me, and it also just like wasn't hitting right for me for some reason. I don't know. Then once they landed in London and started that storyline, it picked up, and that's when I started to kind of like, I was like, oh, okay, this is where the story is going. Like I understood the direction that it was going, and I was like happy with the end. Like I was, the way that it ended and all that stuff, I was like fine with it. So yeah, what about you?
I feel like I almost feel opposite. Like the beginning was more like what I imagined it to be, and that was kind of
Oh.
cheeky and cute and romantic and like tropey and whatever. And they're on the
Oh.
plane, and his seatbelt broke, so they had to like whatever. And then all of a sudden, his mom is dying. All these things are happening. I'm like, I did not ask to have sadness with a rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I understand, but like, and I think it was well done, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just not what I was expecting in that way. Like, it turned a lot more serious than I
Yeah.
thought. And I
That's so
also didn't
interesting.
expect the whole span of this to happen in like less than a day,
Yeah, 24 hours, like maybe 48 hours.
which is
Yeah.
so unrealistic.
I know, that's why it's called Love at First Sight.
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, I liked it overall.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think when I was watching the beginning and all of like the cheeky, like very cliche stuff was all the cutesy stuff was happening, I was like, okay, cool, but what else? Like I know that there was something else. Like they were talking and having conversation at the dinner, and also like when they were sitting next to each other on the airplane, they were talking, and I'm like, you're not telling the full story though. Like I need something's happening. Like, you know? So my first thing that I want to talk about are your thoughts on the narrator / fourth wall?
That took me out of it a little bit.
Really? Okay.
I thought it was clever, like,
Yeah.
what they were going for, they executed well.
Yeah.
But I just don't personally like that. That was one of the things for me that took it to a little too cheesy of a level.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
okay.
And I was like, why does she keep coming up? And I know it's like the theme of like, oh, what's meant to be will be, like it's fate. So like if you're, you know, and like that's kind of what that narrator represented, right? So I understand it, and I think they did a good job with it, what they were trying to do, but it just felt kind of cheesy to me.
I think like that was part of the reasons why I couldn't get into it at the beginning, because it was so campy. Like the narrator was like, this is Hadley and blah blah blah, and she's this and she is like 21% of the time later, blah blah. Like I felt like it was really hard for me to get into, but then when we passed the beginning, I had already accepted that it was very campy and like the narrator was a character. So I was like, okay, I'm totally fine with it because they established it at the beginning. But it was kind of hard for me to adjust to it.
That makes sense, for sure.
I will say I thought it was really funny the way that she kept popping up, like different people.
Yeah, I was like, you again, bitch.
Yeah, like bus driver. She's the customs, and she's like a random stranger on the street. Like I thought it was funny.
I was watching it with my roommate, and we kept seeing, oh my gosh, there's Tahani again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen The Good Place.
Yes.
But yeah.
It's funny because
I just can't see her as anyone else.
Oh, me neither. Yeah, me neither. But I thought her voice is like, I always think that her voice
soothing.
is so soothing.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. Do you know that this movie is based on a book?
Yes, I did see that at the end.
Yeah. That it's called the statistical probability of falling in love at first sight or whatever. And he says it, Oliver, the main guy, says it at the end. And it's so funny because I remember seeing that book on bookshelves as like a kid, and I've just like never read it. And it was just like so interesting to see the movie but not read the book. Because I feel like we've done a good job this year of like reading the book and then watching the movie. So I'm like intrigued to see how like true it stays to the book. Yeah,
and I think it would be hard for me to go the other way and now read the book after I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
But I could see how I might like the book better because the premise was really cool, and I thought they did a good job with the movie. But again, I think with a book you get so much more intricacies and like internal thoughts and like all those things that might make the fact that this all happens in like 24 hours a bit more like easy to digest.
Yeah, no, 100%. I wonder if it's dual POV.
I love dual POVs so much.
Yeah, I wonder if it's dual POVs because if you remember in the movie, like we follow Hadley for a little bit until she gets to the wedding, and then the narrator is like, "Oh, but that's not what all that happened." And then
they did reversed everything.
Yeah. So maybe it is dual POV. I don't know. Speaking of dual POV, I really loved the mom storyline for Oliver. I do agree that like. Well, I think for me personally, like, I knew that there was something more to him when he was, like, talking at the beginning. I was like, okay, but what else? Like, so I was expecting something. I loved it.
I liked it, too.
I think it really, really gave more gravity to his character. And honestly, I would argue that this... Like that, yes, we started with Hadley, but I think this film was truly Oliver's story.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I love that storyline as well. I thought it was like so funny that like Hadley was expecting to show up to a funeral and like all these different things. Like, I don't know. I thought it was really cleverly done. But yeah, I also think it grounded it a little bit and made it a little more serious and like almost made me cry, which I was like, what the fuck? Like, I
Same,
was just
yeah.
not expecting that at all.
Yeah. I got like teary-eyed when he was talking to his mom in that like stairwell or whatever the little place that they were in, and how he was like trying to explain it away with like statistics. And at that point I was like, "Oh, Oliver, honey, like this, you like statistics can't help you in this case, unfortunately." And I think that's again another reason why I think this was Oliver's story, because you could see literally the pivot in his head of like, "Oh my gosh, statistics is not going to save me in this case," which honestly made it even more sad. So
Yeah. No, 100%.
yeah. I want your thoughts on the almost kiss in the airplane.
I loved it, but I felt like that was one of those moments where it was like a little forced.
Oh,
And I was
okay.
like, I don't know. But I also was just like, okay, then just smooch.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
because then we didn't get a kiss until the end. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the heck? I don't know.
A part of me was like, "Oh, you guys should have kissed because this is like love at first sight, right? Like this is the whole premise." And then they didn't. I was like, "What?" Honestly, I thought he was going to follow her inside the bathroom.
I did too. And I was so ready for it. I was like, oh my
too.
God, thank God. Like, this is going to be so spicy.
Yes.
And so awkward and cheeky and funny. And then
No.
it was building up so good.
I
And
know.
then just like,
I know. Like I was like, damn, maybe my head is in the gutter that I think that, but I just like with the whole premise, I was thinking that it was time for a kiss, but
yeah. And with like the premise, like, it's okay that like you kiss right away. It's okay that like
Yeah.
it moves quickly because it's only a over 24-hour period. Like, come on now.
Exactly. After they land in London, I really did like the pivot that the story took, but I thought it was really interesting the way that they like met each other without them having like their contact information, which I think was so very interesting, because I think once they separated at the airport, I was like, okay, well, how are they going to get back together?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And so I think that was really clever on their part. And I think it goes back to your whole point of the narrator kind of representing fate, in which like Hadley overhears a couple saying, "Oh, we're gonna go to a memorial in Peckham House," or something like that. And so I thought that was really, really interesting. But I was eating it up, so.
No, I loved it. I think,
Yeah.
again, it can pull it off because it's a little bit of a cheeky, like,
Yes.
romance story. And, like,
Yes.
why not have a little fun with it? But, like,
Yeah.
also, again, I think I loved how it set it up, because Hadley was, like, putting herself out there and going to see this guy. And she's like, I don't know if I should, but, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I have to. And, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then she shows up and he, like, kind of shuts her down, and she's like super embarrassed, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, like, I misread it. And it made her very relatable
Yes.
in a way, which I really liked. So I think it
Yes.
was super smart.
I was just going to say, in comparison to Oliver's story, right, I feel like that mom storyline gave a lot of gravity to his character, but Hadley going to Oliver really gave a lot of gravity to her character, because in the little cute, like, market that they sit in with her dad, she's like, oh, I went to go and comfort him because I thought that he needed me or something, which, like, is such a bigger part of her character. And I was like, wow, like, that's what I needed from her character, because I felt like I already got what I needed from Oliver. And I was like, oh yes, Hadley, that makes sense.
Because
So-
otherwise, I think without that, she would have just had daddy issues. You know
Yep,
what I mean?
I agree.
For lack of a better word.
I agree.
Also, speaking of Hadley's dad, I thought he was mega weird. Like, his acting was not great.
no, it was
He gave me
horrible.
kind of weird vibes. I was
Yeah.
just like, kind of
for
threw off the dynamic a little bit. I don't know.
Yes, because it's hard, because Haley Lou Richardson is so authentic. That,
So
like,
authentic, so good at acting.
yes. And then across from him is this guy, and I was like, oh, dude, you're trying way too hard. Like, it was hard.
Literally. It was.
Yeah.
I just had to bring that up because
No, you're
it was a
right.
bit hard.
Honestly, I think I blocked it from my memory because it was
Fair.
so hard to watch.
Yep.
Like, every time he spoke on the phone, or the way that he talked to her across the table, I was like, oh, no, dude, no.
Yeah.
I only have one more thought left. I really loved at the end, it said the beginning instead of the end.
Yeah, that was cute.
I thought it was so cute and hopeful, and I was like, wow.
What the heck? Yeah, it's just the beginning of their love story. I will say it's one of those movies where I feel like would have been so nice to see like an epilogue or like a little 5-minute scene of like them where they ended up. Even if they're freaking elderly people or whatever, just to see their family something. Like I would have loved to just get a little insight into like what it ends up looking forward for them. But that's just me being selfish.
Yeah, because we're stuck in this like 48-hour period. Like it's so fast. So I agree that like I would have loved like a time jump for their like life afterwards or like later on. Like, do they both live in London? Do they live in America or whatever?
Exactly.
Like I mean, but like the way that it ended was perfect. But I like me being a romance reader, I like love an epilogue.
Yeah,
you know I love an epilogue.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like that could have been fun. And maybe the book has one.
Yes, exactly.
But they just didn't include it. I don't know.
We don't know.
But yeah, again, it's cool now that I've become so much more of a reader that watching these like book to movie adaptations, I'm starting to really see like, oh, you could have added this in, or oh, you did a good job of this. And it's like such a fun way to watch a movie, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
I do have to ask this. What did you think of the main guy? At first I was like, I don't know if I think you're that attractive, but then as the movie went on, he charmed my freaking pants off.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was so cute.
He was very charming and
so
cute
charming.
and just I agree. I don't think he was like drop dead gorgeous like in a typical like romance novel where like the guy is ripped and so hot and blah 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 all this stuff. I think he was like a very like quiet, handsome, and then he like grew on you as the movie went on.
Yeah.
And I really liked him.
Me too. Me too. Overall, I really liked it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, again, it felt like the movie went by so fast.
Yes.
Because it only 24 hours, you know, again, we've said it 100 times, but yeah, I think I liked it. The one thing I will say about books that have such a short time period of like when they're taking or when things are happening, it just leaves me with this feeling of like wanting more from the characters, wanting to know more about them, their backstory, like whatever. And I feel like the movie did a good job of like giving us that still. But it's like I finally really was like invested in the characters by the end, but then the movie was done. Yeah. You know?
And maybe that was like
so
the goal.
It just stinks.
Maybe that was the goal.
100%. Yeah. And like there's no way to fix that because that's what it's meant to be. Yeah. But like selfishly, I'm like, I want more, you know?
No, same. I was pleasantly surprised with the movie because I think last week we had talked about that Netflix rom-coms are hit or miss. And honestly, like I think they did a good job with this movie, but I don't think they will ever top Set It Up.
No, 100%. And also I feel like this and Set It Up was like a rom-com. This felt more like a romance, like drama-ish type thing. Yes. Like it wasn't, like I went into it, and I think that's why I said before, like it wasn't quite what I was expecting or whatever, because it wasn't, I was expecting rom-com, but it wasn't a rom-com. It was more of like a romance, new age, whatever the heck, you know?
Okay, that makes sense in that case. Yeah, okay.
So now that we finished talking about Love at First Sight, Selena, what are we talking about next week?
Well, next week, our episode is going to be a surprise. So come back and we'll have a topic for you.
There's nothing that I love more than setting you up to have to tell everybody that it's going to be surprise because we don't know what we want to talk about.
Honestly, okay?
It's so funny to me. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.